In this lesson, we're going to continue talking about UV passes and we'll start using them in our refraction comp. Another thing I wanted to talk about was the difference between filtered and non-filtered UV passes. It's very important. In Cinema 4D, a filtered UV pass is what the physical render does when it applies anti-aliasing when rendering the UV pass. A non-filter means that it doesn't have anti-aliasing and is what the standard render in Cinema 4D does. In Maya, it's very easy to do it. You just need to turn on or off that filter option inside of V-Ray. Let's look at the difference between these two when we apply a texture to this. So let's call this AA for anti-aliasing, no anti-aliasing comparison. So let's drop our checkerboard here and our remap UV and tell it to use the checkerboard. Let's go to a frame around here and you will see that let's log this when using the filter version with anti-aliasing, we'll start getting weird artifacts along the edges, but with no anti-aliasing, non-filterization, you will see that we get a cleaner result. So we will definitely be using this along with the MIP map effect. So let's turn that off. Let's make sure that we're using our non-filter version, and let's move on to our refraction comp. So what I want to do is add a little bit more displacement to this, and we're going to be creating a fractal noise, mapping it using the UVs and using that as a displacement. So let's take our UV pass. Let's bring that here. Let's pre-compose it. And let's call that environment chamber displace. We're going to be moving all the settings. Let's turn it off, move it down here. And inside that comp, we're going to make a solid and call this fractal A. Apply a fractal noise. And the texture is, and the plugin is not going to be able to see this unless we pre-compose it. So let's pre-compose this, move all the attributes, turn that off. Let's go inside here. And it's very important and a good practice when creating a texture inside After Effects to be used with a UV pass, the texture needs to be square. So let's tweak the settings and let's make this a 1K texture. Let's also do Command Shift Y to change the settings on the solid and make it the comp size. So we're making a 1K texture here. And let's tweak the settings so it doesn't look so much like the default fractal noise from After Effects. Let's switch this to dynamic. And let's switch that to spline. And we're going to also be tweaking the evolution like we did with the turbulent displace. In this case, we're going to do time times 125. Sorry. Times 125. And let's tweak the transform here. Not uniform. Let's scale the width by 50 and this by 140. And I don't think we need to animate this. And let's add a little bit more contrast. 160. That's not bad at all. Let's see, do we need to animate? No, we don't need to animate this offset turbulence. And finally, let's add a fast blur. With the fast blur, we'll add probably like 10 pixels of blurriness, maybe 15. If we play this, we should have a really nice fractal noise that will be mapping on our chambers using the UVs. So let's take that, close this, go here. We have our chamber here. We have our fractal noise here. Apply the UV. Tell it to use the fractal. And if we play that, you will see the texture being applied and it sticks to the objects. And let's play a little section. Then we can use this fractal being mapped on the geometry to drive another displacement in our refraction comp. So let's take that, go into our refraction comp, and go into our water displays where we applied our turbulent displacement, and let's do a regular After Effects displacement map. Let's tell it to use the environment chambers displays and make sure to turn on wrap pixels around. Let's zoom into this guy and see what kind of result we're getting. Oh, yes, really nice. You will see that that extra displacement there really adds a lot. It adds a subtle extra layer of complexity. It's really nice. Let's go into this one right here. Let's see how it looks. Oh, really nice, really nice. So let's look at this on our environment, build comp, turn on and off, and nothing's going outside the boundaries of the glass because of our masks. It's all good, perfect. So in the next, so this was a look at how to utilize. So this was a look at how to use the UV passes to create a displacement map. In the next lesson, we're going to still be using the UV passes to add even more detail to our glass elements.